Let's talk about something that hits close to home. Something that affects almost everyone, whether you're a tech enthusiast or just someone who needs a phone to get through the day. We're talking about the price of your gadgets. Your phone, your laptop, even your car. These are all getting more expensive, and it's not just inflation or the usual price hikes we see every year. There's something bigger going on behind the scenes, and it's changing the way we buy and use technology. You might think global politics is just background noise, something that only matters to politicians and business leaders. But the truth is, decisions made by world leaders can directly impact your wallet, sometimes in ways you don't even notice until you're at the checkout counter. The culprit? US curbs on Chinese tech. These aren't just headlines or political talking points. They're real policies with real consequences for everyday people. These are rules that limit how American companies interact with Chinese tech firms and restrict China's access to advanced technology. It's like putting up a fence in the middle of a playground and telling some kids they can't use the best toys. Think of it as a high-stakes game of, you can't play with my toys. Only instead of toys, we're talking about microchips, software, and the building blocks of the devices you use every day. Why does this matter to you? Because it changes how your gadgets are made, where they come from, and how much they cost. When companies can't get the parts they need or have to find new suppliers, it slows everything down and drives prices up. When the rules of the game change, things get messy. And messy usually means pricier for you. Suddenly that new phone or laptop you've been saving up for costs more, or is harder to find in stock. So, if you care about your budget, or just want to know why your next phone might cost more than you expected, stick around. This isn't just about numbers on a screen, it's about your everyday choices and your hard-earned money. We're diving into how global tech politics lands right in your shopping cart. Every time you pick up a new gadget, you're feeling the ripple effects of decisions made half a world away. It's not just abstract economics, it's your hard-earned cash on the line. The price you pay at the register is shaped by a web of international rules, trade wars, and supply chain challenges. US curbs on Chinese tech sound official, but they're a big deal for your everyday life. They affect what's available in stores, how quickly new products come out, and even which features make it into your favorite devices. These restrictions are like taking away key pieces from a global puzzle. When a crucial part is missing, the whole picture changes, and not for the better. When the puzzle doesn't fit together, prices go up. Sometimes products disappear from shelves altogether, or you have to settle for something less advanced than you hoped. Let's break down how this all works, and why it matters to you. We'll look at how these global tech battles shape the gadgets you love, the prices you pay, and the choices you have as a consumer. Ready? Let's get into it. Whether you're a tech geek or just someone who wants a good deal, this is information you can't afford to miss. This will be more fun than fruitcake, I promise. And by the end you'll know exactly why the next time you see a price tag, you'll think twice about what's really behind it. When you hear about US curbs on Chinese tech, it might sound like a bunch of political jargon, but what does it actually mean, and why should you care? In simple terms, the US government is putting up barriers, rules and restrictions on certain technologies and companies from China. The official reasons: national security, protecting sensitive information, and staying ahead in the global tech race. Imagine it like a bouncer at an exclusive high-tech club. The US decides who gets to come in, and who's left shivering outside in the rain. If you're not on the list, you're not getting in, no matter how cool your gadgets are. The main targets of these curbs? Think of the brains and nervous systems of modern technology: semiconductors, advanced microchips, telecom equipment, artificial intelligence, and other cutting-edge tech that powers everything from smartphones to supercomputers. Sometimes these rules mean US companies can't sell their high-tech products to Chinese firms. Other times they're not allowed to buy certain components or software from China, even if it would help their business. There are also tough investment restrictions. This makes it much harder for money to flow between the two countries, especially in these sensitive tech sectors. Investors have to think twice before putting their cash into anything that might be on the restricted list. The big picture goal? To slow down China's rapid rise as a tech superpower, and to protect US interests, both economic and strategic, on the world stage. For businesses though, it's like trying to find your way through a constantly changing maze of new rules, paperwork, and legal risks. Every move has to be double-checked. And when the global tech supply chain gets tangled up, it's not just companies that feel the pain. Prices for everyday electronics like phones, laptops, and smart devices can start to climb, hitting consumers right in the wallet. So, how do these tech curbs actually play out in the real world? Let's take a closer look at the ripple effects from the factory floor to your local electronics store. To see why these curbs matter, let's talk about the global supply chain. Imagine building a complex Lego set, but the pieces are scattered across dozens of countries. China became the world's tech workshop, not just for cheap labor, but for its skilled workforce and massive factories. For years, this kept gadget prices low. Enter US tech curbs. Suddenly, key Jenga blocks are off limits or harder to get. Companies scramble for alternatives, but rerouting supply chains is slow, expensive, and messy. It's like finding a new route to work when all the main roads are closed, frustrating and costly. Those extra costs, they trickle down to you. Disrupt the supply chain and your gadgets get pricier. That's the reality of a global tech system under pressure. Let's see what that means for your next device. What do these supply chain disruptions mean for your next phone or laptop? The first thing you'll notice is scarcity. When the flow of parts slows down, it's not just a minor hiccup. It can bring entire production lines to a halt, leaving shelves emptier than usual. If a key component like a chip is harder to get, its price goes up. These chips are the brains of your devices, and when they're in short supply, manufacturers have to pay more to get them. Modern electronics rely on hundreds, sometimes thousands of parts sourced from all over the world. Each tiny piece might come from a different country, and if even one is delayed, the whole device can't be finished. If even a few components become expensive or scarce, production slows dramatically and prices rise across the board. Factories might sit idle, waiting for a single missing part. Delays and shortages mean fewer discounts and higher prices for everyone. You might notice fewer choices on store shelves, and the deals you used to count on just aren't there. Companies may have to redesign products if certain parts are off limits, which costs time and money. Sometimes entire product launches are delayed while engineers scramble to find alternatives or rework designs. Those redesign costs, they don't just disappear, they're passed on to you, the consumer. And with so much uncertainty, companies have to plan for the unexpected, which adds even more to the final price. With rules and regulations changing, companies might stockpile parts or invest in building new factories closer to home, both expensive moves that drive up costs. All these extra layers of cost stack up, from pricier parts to higher shipping fees and new investments in infrastructure. The result? Your gadgets cost more, and you might wait weeks or even months longer to get the latest device. The days of instant upgrades are fading. It's a price lasagna. Layer after layer of added expense, all baked into the final cost you pay at checkout. And it's not just about luxury tech. Even basic devices like entry-level phones, tablets, and home appliances are affected. Everyday technology is getting caught in the same web. The more complicated the supply chain, the bigger the impact. A single disruption can ripple through the entire network, affecting products you wouldn't expect. So next time you see a price hike, remember, it's not just inflation or corporate greed. It's a complex mix of global shortages, logistical headaches, and rising costs at every step. It's the global tech puzzle missing a few pieces, and until those gaps are filled, the challenges and the higher prices are here to stay. Let's look at how companies handle these new costs and what it means for the future of your favorite gadgets. Companies aren't charities, they're in it for profit. When their costs go up, they pass those costs along the chain. Suppliers charge more, manufacturers pay more, retailers mark up prices, and you pay the final bill. It's a hot potato of higher costs landing in your shopping cart. Sometimes companies try to absorb a bit, but usually they protect their margins. Indirect costs add up too: legal fees, lobbying, new logistics. All these expenses snowball and end up in the price tag you see. Even small increases across many products can hit your budget hard. The bottom line, global politics and tech curbs mean you pay more. Let's see how this hits your favorite devices. From phones to laptops, no gadget is safe. Here's how the ouch factor shows up. Let's get specific. How do these curbs affect your smartphone? Smartphones rely on global cooperation, with China playing a huge role in both components and assembly. If chip costs rise or assembly shifts to pricier locations, your phone gets more expensive. Moving production is slow and costly, and those costs show up in the final price. Even budget phones rely on Chinese efficiencies. If those are lost, budget phones may not feel so budget anymore. You might pay more for the same specs or see fewer features at lower price points. It's not just about the latest flagship. Every phone is affected. The tech tug-of-war means higher prices, fewer deals, and slower innovation. Next time you upgrade, expect a little more sticker shock. And it's not just phones. Let's talk about your other tech toys. Gaming consoles, laptops, and accessories are all feeling the squeeze. These devices are packed with advanced chips and components, many tied to China's supply chain. When that chain gets disrupted, costs go up across the board. Laptops, from workhorses to gaming rigs, rely on Chinese parts and assembly. Shifting production is expensive, and those costs get passed to you. Even accessories, mice, keyboards, headphones aren't immune. Small price hikes add up, especially if you love the latest tech. Companies can't absorb all the extra costs, so you pay more. The new reality, tech upgrades require a bigger budget. And yes, even your car is caught in the crossfire. Think your car is safe? Think again. Modern cars are loaded with chips and tech, making them part of the global supply chain drama. Chip shortages have already shown how vulnerable car production is. If tech curbs make chips scarcer or pricier, car costs rise, sometimes even for used cars. Electric and autonomous vehicles rely even more on advanced tech. As the US and China compete, these cars get pricier to build and to buy. The tech tug-of-war isn't just about gadgets. It's about your next ride too. The future of cars is high-tech and high-cost. Let's wrap up what this all means for you. So what's the takeaway? US curbs on Chinese tech create a chain reaction, disrupted supply chains, higher costs, and pricier gadgets and cars. It's a global economic domino effect, and your wallet feels the impact. From phones to cars, the price hikes are real and widespread. These policies have complex reasons, but the result is simple. You pay more. Being informed helps you understand the why behind rising prices. It won't make your next phone cheaper, but at least you'll know what's going on. Think critically about what you buy and the forces shaping those prices. In a complicated world, knowledge is power, even if it doesn't lower your tech bill. At least now you've got a solid explanation for your next budget stretch.